watching Hypno Heather. Okay, welcome to our last community session for the year, December 29th. I had to sneak it in before the end of the year so that we could take this time together and have a really nice introspective um, processing of the past year and maybe even the past few years, and be able to really sit in this excitement of the future. And I'll get into a little bit about, how we could get that soulful boost, so to speak, to really move, not even into necessarily just the new year, but into that future self. Like, but with such a beautiful, genuine contentment of the self now. And that's really where we're hanging out today. We're really hanging out in that space of content with where we are, but also with that potential to really shed and really consider like what we can't take with us on the next part of our journey. And then really flow into the excitement of the possibilities and get some clarity for what that looks like, or what's valuable to spend time on moving forward. Because as we know, right, there's so many distractions in our world, and there's so many things that we could potentially do. There's so many distractions, there's so many possibilities, there's so many paths, there's so many options, there's so many choices. And that's great, but there's so much to be said for focused attention, for focused intention, let's say. So, welcome. And thank you so much for being here. It's always a fun time. Now the community is growing from people all over the world, so that's exciting too. Welcome to everybody who's new here, and that to those that have been joining even since the beginning, some of you. So this is really appreciated, really fun. We'll start off. So I'll talk a little bit to our theme, which is that content with where we are, while really being conscious and conscientious about what can we not take with us on our journey forward, and also then build that energy. And then we'll get into a full group hypnosis where I'll let you know when we're doing that, and you can go lay down and get comfortable and just soak it up, subconsciously. So if you're new to hypnosis, I'll talk a little bit about that before we do that too. So as we're getting started, um I keep having this thought that keeps coming to me, like, what can you not take with you where you're going? And I love that quote that's like, the cost of your new life is your old life. And I wasn't really planning to get that heavy today, but I mean, you guys know me, I don't know really how to do anything else. And it's so valuable to just sit in that space and kind of go, just be honest with ourselves. Like, what am I still carrying? What am I still holding on to? What am I still nurturing? What am I still putting energy into? What may be draining my energy? And as some of you know from spending time with me, sometimes that can just look like what your narrative is, or your story that you're telling yourself, or your thoughts that you're letting yourself be preoccupied with. So it's not always some external thing like, I got to get rid of this man, or I got to get rid of this, I've got to change everything about my life. It can just be something like really clear, and this might become more clear to you in hypnosis, and I'll give you space to feel into this in hypnosis. because maybe there's something that you can't quite see right now, but we're just warming up here, kind of starting to consider that there might even be just something that's not even that big that we could just decide to stop doing. We could decide to stop giving energy to. We could decide to um, not value as much anymore. Like if we were putting, um, something ahead of our own self care, or maybe other people's needs or opinions, or things we thought we had to do. So maybe there's like an obligation that you could free yourself from. You could always throw it in the chat too if you want to kind of energize it, put it out into the world. If there's something that you really feel like you actually know that you need to shed, stop doing, let go of. And sometimes it can just be like a perception of something. Maybe you've always seen money as a stress, or you've always thought that you're not good enough, or you didn't like your body, or you don't really feel confident in being able to create the life that you want. So it could even just be something that's not anything. Let's say this. It's like anything that's not serving you, basically, your highest good. Or I'm going to type it in there so I have it in there after. So anything that is not serving your highest good, and even if you don't know what that is or where you're going, and because I'm not super like, okay, you've got to get your exact goals exactly focused, and this is what you have to now focus on to create, and here's the steps to create it. That's not really, I haven't really ever seen like lasting change happen like that. Um, but if there is somewhere, say, that you haven't been able to get to, or something that you haven't been able to do, it is really helpful to look at, what could I shed? Like we do this. I mean, some of you I know are trained hypnotists, and this is a part of hypnosis training where they'll say, you teach the client to kind of go, well, if you want to wake up earlier in the morning, then you got to go to bed earlier. Like there's kind of two habits there. So we could look at something like this, like what do you want to do more of? What would be better to do less of? Say you want to eat cleaner, you can eat cleaner, and that's also going to be the other side, easier if you eat less junk food. So there's kind of always two sides. If you want to believe in yourself more, or care for yourself more, or trust more, well, then it's going to be really helpful for you to stop knocking yourself down or getting too caught up in fear or worry while you're learning to trust. So there's always two sides. I love the feedback. I love just like seeing where you're at. Yeah, this is good, you guys. So I'll stop obsessing about money and stressing about it, the fear of my health. It's time to let go of what my body appears like on the outside and stop comparing it to what it looked like in my 30s. That's good. Money, stress, fear of failure, fear of success, not feeling 100% worthy of my life, of my dreams, comparing myself to other people. So usually we can find those things pretty quickly, right? Like we know the things that are there. And like I said, in hypnosis, you might kind of see it something different, or you might even see kind of, what might be like, maybe there's a survival mechanism that's sort of causing that to continue. And so there's so much freedom in just even starting to open up the space for not having to live how we live. And I love that one about the body in a different era, in a different time, because it's literally physically impossible to go back to the past. And then think about the body being like a physical gravity on earth. It's only going to be able to become what it can become. It will never be able to be what it was. And that's like all of this. We can't really take any of it with us because we can't ever, and I don't think any of us really want to be what we were. I don't really believe that. I think we could be nostalgic about certain points in our life, but we really want the potential of the future. We don't want the limitations of the past. Like, and this is where we're going. The potential for the future is endless. It's really, and not to like just be dreamy, but to be really practical in the endless possibilities when we understand that we can't take any of that. We're not going to take any of that with us. At some point, we're not going to take any of it with us. And so, what would be, sometimes I know for myself with my business, there's still parts of it I'm like, but it was so awesome. And it got, it was great. And this got me to here. But as long as I keep holding on to that, it stays, it's almost like a weight that like it was like, it used to be like a step in the ladder to get me to here, but now it's just like a weight on my foot that's like stopping me from going up the next step. And so that's the thing that we're going to create space for to let go of today. It's that thing. And you don't even have to know it. Like, you don't have to know what it is. Like, your subconscious knows, your being knows. It's more just being open to the possibility of what if I was a bit more courageous to leave something comfortable behind and kind of just deal with whatever happens as a result. This happens a lot with food, right? Comfort foods and foods that are kind of maybe have supported us at certain times, but now are really getting in the way of our health goals. Or maybe they're even causing inflammation. So that sometimes we can see it very easily with food because it becomes a comfort, but then it starts to become a barrier. It starts to become a block to our healing, to our potential. So, yeah, step out of my comfort zone without fear. Sometimes I say step out of your comfort zone with fear because that's more realistic, maybe. Like, discomfort is not fun, but it's really not also as bad as our mind perceives, right? Like, often our mind does tell quite the story of it wants to get us out of discomfort, but it's often made bigger in our mind. Okay, so that would be the first half. And then the second half would be, where are we going? What are we creating? The first thing that came into my mind when I meditated on this session was, let's just pick one thing instead of more than one thing. Just one thing that would create an improvement for you. And I always, being a hypnotist, January was always funny to me because everybody is doing all these things and they're kind of sharing online all the things they're doing for their New Year's resolution. And then I would just wait till February when everyone didn't do the things they said that they were going to do. And then they would come to me to help them change the habits and do the things they want to do as their New Year's resolution. But because it doesn't always work like that, right? Like, you can't just have the idea and then if there's something internal or something that still has to be let go of in order to make that a lasting change, that's a bit deeper work. Like that's the work we do here. So if we're not kind of doing that, if it's something that you really want to start doing and you don't have kind of that support and you want it to be lasting, pick it and make it the goal for the whole year. So you've got a year to do this goal. So that way, if you start exercising and then you kind of stop, then you just come back to it. You got a year. Okay, you stop for 2 weeks, come back to it for a week. And you give a little more space. I'll delve more into this in our January session when we'll really kind of get more into supercharging potential goals. But even if it was like something, say, wanting to have more positive self-talk, what if that was like your only goal? It doesn't mean that you're not going to do other things, but what if that was like your only goal, your main goal, and then you just kept coming back to it for a year? Like imagine at the end of the year how much more self-talk but positive self-talk you would have than if you kind of expected it to just happen and be quick and then fell off of it. And then once you fell off of it, you just left it. And that's really what I could say. Like, that's why I choose to show up like this, because these are the things that I learned from working with so many people in their subconscious mind over the last decade or so, which is nobody ever sticks to anything, hypnosis or not. But really, people that build consistent change keep coming back to it. Because if every time you fall off of something and you just think, oh, I fell off, like I'm done now, and you don't get back on, well, then you had an unrealistic expectation of what you should be able to do. Like, no, I have worked with like the people that were like bodybuilders or bikini competition, where they really ate the way a lot of my clients wanted to eat. And then they come to me because they binge at the candy store, or they often binge peanut butter because peanut butter is like a substitute for having fun, right? And then it kind of showed that like their strictness was actually still impossible because it wasn't aligned sometimes, and sometimes they just needed a break from it for them. And they would get mad and say, you did hypnosis, and then like I sort of ate everything for a couple days. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. But then they would find it easier to just go back and be more happy with the focus and be more in it. So it's like sometimes we do have to get off track. Well, some of you know this because we were doing some of the medical medium stuff, and you're eating so clean, and then you go off of it and you feel like crap. And then, but that's where it stops, right? Like if you just feel like crap and then go, oh, right, my body felt so much better when I was eating this, my mind was so much clearer, then you just go back to it instead of thinking you're a failure or thinking you're doing something wrong or thinking you should have done better, which actually just probably makes anyone want to eat shittier again because of the low mood. So this is what we're really looking at, right? Just like one thing to practice, and lots of other things will fall into place because when you're feeling better, you're just going to do things that are better for you. So, oh, I like this. Okay. So get over my fear of posting on social media and speaking my truth with it and not constantly feeling like everything I post is not that great. Yeah. Overthinking and overjudging myself for it. Yeah, this is actually something that does come up a lot in the membership community Hypnosis Healers Club, where I mentor hypnosis practitioners, because it's actually quite common to feel that fear of putting yourself out there. And then especially if we're kind of either wanting it to have a certain outcome or judging kind of the outcome that it has, when really that's just about building energy. The more you post, the more energy you're building. But this is really common. So it's like, even with something like that, we could look at, for you, it will be different for everyone, but we could look at, okay, what is that little ball and chain that's still sort of holding on? And I'm going to work on this. And then, these are things where if you feel like you really can't move past them, well, then it is going to be able to be better to reach out and like do a private session or do a consult to see, some of the practitioners that work with me to work deeper. Because sometimes if you really do find you're not getting past it, it can shift really quickly. I mean, we're going to hold space for that today, but I actually think that that's very common because, one, I mean, it just is, the more you put yourself out there, the more you get attacked. Like, it just is. And two, it's in our human nature to not want to be ostracized for survival. And there was times in the way past, right, where if we were outside of the clan, we would die because our whole survival depended on being part of it. So that's why I think there's always room for self-compassion, because more is happening often than we know, and we just think that we're afraid, or we just think we're being hard on ourselves, or we just think we should be able to get past something, but it's not really like that. Right? I do believe we all come here with our own challenges to evolve from, and that's just life. But there's so much support now in the world to heal through things, to not have those things be a barrier or be causing such um discomfort that it actually stops you from doing what you need to do. Self-love and self-compassion can heal many things. Yeah. And that's part of this whole, like, being content with where you are. Like, it's not saying that nothing could change or improve. It's saying that I'm okay if it doesn't. Like, I'm good. I'm alive. Like, I'm here. I don't know if I could have done anything better or differently. I'm pretty sure not, because I'm here. And then that's such a nice, gentle place to then start to go, what are like my motivations behind wanting to change? Or what's always fun topic here, what are my motivations around wanting to change someone else? Like, what if we don't need to change? Sometimes I post things like that, like, you're not broken. You're not your thoughts. You're good as you are. I was having a conversation today because my coaching work is really about just holding space for people to be as they are. And there's so much wisdom and insight that comes from that. But I keep having conversations with other people that hire coaches that they're constantly telling them what they need to be doing without ever listening to them about where they're at, what they need, or even recognizing that they have wisdom within them to guide them. And this is where we hang out here. Like, you're all as wise as I am. Because we all have access to the same wisdom. And it's beautiful. And it's awesome. And it helps us relax more and surrender more and trust more in ourselves. Let's see, being in the present moment and focusing more on the good things that are happening in my life by making a gratitude list. So this is nice, and this will be really nice because we can visit it here briefly, and then in January we can come back and see what's changed. Maybe the thing is different that you want to do for the year. Maybe you got some insight around it. Maybe you realize, oh, I don't even want that. I just thought I had to do that to be happier. Right? So this is really fun. I think what we'll do is we'll almost start to get ready. The main thing I know I know the more that we've been doing this, more people have been falling asleep. So just remember, like, it's totally fine if you fall asleep. Like, you can't get stuck in hypnosis. You can always message me when you woke up. You can always message me after the session, anything. I love it anyway. But you can always be like, oh, I just woke up, but you'll always wake up. Like, it doesn't matter. Your subconscious will like take in as much as it needs. I always suggest to try not to fall asleep, but while knowing it's totally okay if you fall asleep. And because some of you have been just hypnotized so many times by me, I know you're probably already going into it just listening to my voice. So that's a main thing to know. Another thing to know is that there's no wrong way. Like, you're not, if you have thoughts or like if you're not relaxed, like, that's actually okay. Because sometimes when we're doing this stuff, it is like your mind's kind of trying to process. And it doesn't always make sense if you think about like dreams. It doesn't really make sense when you're what you think of or dream about and how that somehow helps you process your day. And so we really just let it be whatever it is. I know lots of you have already done this, but just for those that are new, so if you lose track of my voice, that's okay. If you drift off or if you're with me the whole time, that's okay. And you can always, if you get emotional, that's okay too. And you can always like let me know, how you're feeling after. We'll have a quick little wrap up after, and then I'll hang up. So some of you might wake up after I hang up. So if you, oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. So if you want to get sorted, you can lay down, just get somewhere comfortable because you're gonna want to relax, right? But however that is for you. Some people sit up, some people lay down, some people, if you do have a tendency to fall asleep, you might want to lay down less. I don't know. um, but I'll let you get uh comfortable. I'll let in, this will be the last person I let in. And then as you're getting comfortable, I will get ready. That's it. And yeah, just kind of get in a comfortable position that you feel good. And you can always adjust and move as we go too. Beautiful. And once you're set up or comfortable, you can close your eyes and take a couple of nice deep breaths. Good. And knowing right from the beginning that every breath takes you deeper and deeper, relaxed. And sometimes we do like to imagine that there is a wave of relaxation flowing from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. And it's like every breath sends another wave And another wave of flowing, gentle, beautiful, soft, permissive, comfortable relaxation. And sometimes it is nice to tap into the body, to the physical body a bit, maybe just kind of loosen your shoulders a bit, let your jaw drop, let your face muscles or your forehead muscles relax, maybe even your stomach. Sometimes it can be nice to even breathe into the stomach like a balloon and release through the mouth. That's a good message to your body that it's okay, safe. This is your time to relax. This is just your time for you. So you might want to do that again. Breathe into the stomach like a big balloon and breathe out like it inflates. Then go deeper, relax. That's it. Deeper and deeper, relax. More and more comfortable. Muscles continuing to soften, lengthen, and loosen. Breathing easy. That's it. And as you're breathing, letting go. Nothing to do, there's nothing to know, figure out, solve, or remember. This is where you really just kind of imagine. Yeah, you give the steering wheel to another part of you, and that thinking, trying to analyze, figure out part, you just give a break or you let it know. You can listen in, but you can take a well-deserved break. And so breathing and letting go, just like that. That's good. And then focusing on your eyelids, letting your eyelids become nice and heavy, nice and relaxed, nice and comfortably stuck shut, where you'll notice that the more that you try to open them, the more that they just keep sticking closed. So notice even when you really try to open them, you can't, and you just stop trying and go deeper, relax. If they opened, you simply close them, go deeper, relaxed. Opening and closing the eyes always takes one deeper in hypnosis, and every time that you do hypnosis, you go deeper than the time before, each time accessing the perfect level. Some of you, I know, you can already even take yourself, or you've been hypnotized lots, and you just find yourself going deeper now. Deeper, relax now. That's it. More and more comfortable, more and more relaxed. In a moment, I will have you open and close your eyes, and that'll be your signal to yourself to go even deeper, to relax even more. Eyes open and down, deeper, relax. Again, eyes open and down, deeper, relax now. It's always nice to just give your body that permission to soften. Maybe imagine it being more jelly, and let this wave of relaxation go into any areas that you're experiencing tension, pain, or imbalance. That's it. More and more comfortable. More and more relaxed. The deeper you go, the better you feel. The better you feel, the deeper you go. Each number now taking you deeper. 10. And as I'm counting down, this can also be a really nice opportunity for release. So if there was something that came up that you gotta shed, you gotta knock off, you gotta drop away from, you can bring in that intention now. And you can also just bring in the intention to give your mind, yourself, your heart permission to let go of anything and everything no longer needed for your highest good moving forward. 9, softening more. 8, you can always take your conscious mind somewhere comfortable, somewhere that you like to go and leave it there. Maybe somewhere warm. 7, 6, 5, 4, 'deeper and deeper. 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. This is a natural way of being, right? It's built into us, our ability to soften, to surrender, to relax. And sometimes you might relax more than other times. It might be easier than other times. There might be more going on than other times. It might even be your first time or your second time where you're just learning to tap into that part of you that is naturally wired to soften. So wherever you're at right now, just being there and staying there in that sense of like bringing in this whole idea, not just where you're at in this moment, but where you're at in life, where you're at with your body, where you're at with your mind, where you're at with your family, your friends, your work, your partner, your money, your health, your love life, your location, your living situation. This is our moment right here, right now, to just sit in it. It's not even that you have to love it. It's just a knowing that it's okay, and a self-love, a self-compassion. If there has been blame or you were thinking you should be somewhere else or you should have done better, this is the moment. This is the moment to sit in it. This is the moment to just be. Be with yourself as you are, right here, right now, in this situation, in this life, and just be. And I am going to be silent for a moment. And if you are experiencing any discomfort, this is also a really great place to sit in it, because it's never going to be forever. And the more you can kind of feel into that here, uh, the more it can clear and process. So this is really of just finding whatever piece that you can, whatever glimpse, piece of peace, whatever piece of peace you can find in this moment with yourself, with where you're at, exactly where you are now. And then once you once again hear my voice, I'll do a release, and then we'll move into the creative part of our session today. That's it. Even with the sticky stuff, the stuff that's been harder to accept, the stuff that still hurts, the stuff that seems unfair, the stuff that is unfair. Just softening into that. All as is, not right, not wrong, not good, not bad. No blame, no shame, just is. And if something does come up that's harder to move or just allow, just do those belly breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good. You can give yourself permission, even subconsciously, for your subconscious mind to continue processing, releasing, letting go of everything and anything known or unknown no longer needed for your highest good continuously, even after you're done here. And then for all of the animals out there that are listening, as there's often many, even and Tucker, if you're listening, this is for all the animals to, if there's any anxiety that you took on for whatever reason, feel that letting go now. And so taking a moment to breathe, and then start to let the energy shift. Start to listen to my voice, feel into the lightness and the excitement of my voice, and let my voice come in and start to feel the energy shift. So start to let some of that in, right? Start to let in some of the light. So now it's kind of like, okay, that's where I am. And that might be light too, but really this is lighter. This is starting to go, whew, take that off. Come back to the moment, come back to the energy, come back to the excitement of the energy of the new year, of possibility. of like actually sometimes change happening really quickly when we're willing to just stop doing something or just do that one thing or just decide, just intend to move beyond, to let go of something that you've been holding on to as comfort. But we're now moving into the creative. Where are you going? How do you want to feel? It can be as clear as crystal or blurry as fog. It doesn't matter. You don't have to see it. Just start to get a sense of how you want to feel, right? How you want to feel. And bring that in. Let that be part of now. Let the light come in. Feel into like all the energy of all of us together, gathered here together, humans doing the best we can with what we got and what we have now and where we ended up as a result of what we had or didn't have. And we're all here and we can feel into this energy together and really bring in this light in whatever way. Sometimes people just like to imagine it like light or like a wave of light. Some people like it to imagine it as spirit or source energy or universal mind or God. Let in whatever is the love, the unconditional love, the light for you. Whatever that is for you, let it in. Let it come, let it grow, let it be, and let it free you. And breathe. Let in the relief. This is also the perfect time because we surrendered, right? We surrendered. Like, it is what it is. I'm here now. And, there's only so much we can control. And so, like, feel into that freedom of surrender. Like, no sense worrying about an outcome that you have no control over. And then you get to really come into, ooh, what do I have control over? What can I change? What is one thing I could do to improve my life? And let that come in. Let that come in. Let it, maybe you know it, right? Maybe you don't. Maybe it'll appear to you later or tomorrow or next week. Just set the stage for it. Be open to it. You can even just say, I am open to seeing the one thing that will be the best thing for me to improve my life or my health or whatever it is, right? My life, myself. And let it come in and just give it permission to come to you because it's so fun. If it doesn't come to you now, it'll come to you. And you'll be like, oh, that's the thing. So I am going to stop talking for a moment just to give you that space to feel into what that thing might possibly be, what that one thing might possibly be for your hack, for your life hack, one thing that you could do. And then when you once again hear my voice, we'll wrap that up and then it will almost be time to come back. And if something just pops into your mind and then you go, oh no, I don't think that's it, you might want to revisit it. And if one thing did pop into your mind, you can imagine yourself doing it, seeing it, being it, embodying it, right? This is where you can imagine putting your whole being into it, your whole body, your whole heart, your whole soul. And when you imagine doing that, if it doesn't quite fit, just be open to receiving more information or maybe even more clarification, because it might be something slightly different than you're imagining. So this is a really important piece to be formless with. Don't try to make it fit into what you think it should look like. Try to let it be just more like how you want to feel and start to imagine how you might embody it now, not something from the past or even something you necessarily read you have to do. See if you can just kind of embody it now or start to imagine embodying it. That's it. And also relax about it, right? Relax into it, bring the surrender into it, be willing to be guided to it, to set the intention so that you can just find yourself there. You can find yourself being there. You can find yourself doing it. And if any kind of tension or control comes up around it, again, just breathe and out through the mouth, then relax again. It's amazing how much we can accomplish when we relax. We might have been programmed to like kind of use stimulants to keep going or like kind of keep trying to keep going, and then we overdo it, or we get tired, or we get exhausted, or we're actually just pushing ourselves to do things that maybe aren't right. And so this is a different approach. This is like relaxing to flow into. This is like really feeling into your true passion, your true desire to do this for yourself, and how great it's going to feel, and how that's not work. That's pure pleasure because of how great you feel. Pleasure, movement, money, energy, sleep, vitality, mental peace, peace of mind, freedom, contentment, trust, love, unconditional love, joy, sadness, right? Loneliness, grief, fear, happiness, excitement, fun. It's all part of the human condition. And your ability to flow through it is your peace. Your ability to relax through it all is your peace. Your ability to relax through it all is your peace. And so it is. Take a nice deep breath. Feel the space that you've created for yourself today, for coming and spending time with yourself. You could even give yourself a little hug. I'm going to count to 3, and then at 3, you'll be back in the room, eyes open, relaxed, awake, and aware. And even if you are asleep, you'll wake up, or if you wake up and then you go back to sleep soon, you're going to have the best sleep, and you're going to wake up feeling so relaxed and refreshed and energized in the morning. One, starting to let a little bit of movement come into your body, into your hands, into your feet. 2, breathing, maybe stretching a little or coming to life, coming back to the moment. And 3, eyes open, back in the room, relaxed, awake, aware, feeling fantastic. And you can always come to the chat and share your experience. I do always stay here for a moment or so. You can also always message me your experience. I want to thank all of you beautiful beings for being here, for being part of the community, for supporting everyone else here with your energy and your presence. It's so beautiful, and I'm already excited for our New Year session. It's such a pleasure to be here. And I know some of you have been asking kind of about some stuff coming up in the new year, but I'll share that in the group as things become available. You can always reach out to me for questions about working deeper one-on-one and what that might look like if you are finding that there's things that you can't move past. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, this is the freedom. I love that mantra. Oh, I love that mantra that came in. I'm going to type it. Your ability to relax through it all is your peace. Peace. And thank you, everyone, again. And we'll see you next month, if not sooner, in some other capacity. Have a great night, everyone. Ciao for now.